In this video, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of Lomochrome Purple. Now, straight out of the gate, this film is weird, but I'm kind of into it. So Lomography has this line of films they call Lomochrome. It consists of Metropolis, which gives you a kind of dystopian, depressive look, Turquoise, which will turn any portrait subject into a smurf, and Lomochrome Purple, which out of the three of them, I was the most excited to shoot. Recently, we took a trip to Vienna, where we visited the insanely opulent Schönbrunn?
Schönbrunn.
But we did not go inside, no. Instead, we walked around the gardens, which are about the size of a very small country. This was our last day in Vienna, and I was really excited to shoot some Lomo Purple in these gardens. So I was expecting a lot of greenery, and I thought it would really play well with this film. I took along my Pentax Spotmatic 2 with my current favorite lens, the Takumar 55mm 1.8, and also this Pentacon 30mm 3.5 that I got in the week before and hadn't really had an opportunity to shoot much yet. While I did mostly shoot on the 55, it was nice to get the 30 on there for some wider shots. At first, I was a little disappointed because some of the leaves were already starting to turn a bit. We were there in early September. However, somewhere in the gardens, we stumbled upon this insane greenhouse. I think they call it the Large Palm House, which was absolutely filled with tropical plants. This was the perfect location to shoot Lomo Purple. Okay, so a little bit about this film. According to Lomography, this film turns blues into greens, greens into purples, and yellows into pinks, while somehow leaving skin tones completely alone. This makes it great for taking portraits of people surrounded by tons of greenery. The film is available in 35mm, 120, and 110. The roll I shot was 35. A special and kind of interesting thing about this film is that it's a variable ISO film. This means it's rated from 100 to 400 ISO. Shooting it at different ISOs will have some effect on the intensity of the colors, I think. But what you could do is shoot some shots at 100, some shots at 200, some shots at 400, and you can still just develop the roll without any other special measures, and all the photos will come out, which I think is pretty cool. However, I shot the whole roll at 400 because I had done a little bit of research and I liked the 400 ISO results the most, so that's what I went with. Most of these were shot inside, some of them were outside, but the highlights are a little blown out on those. But most of the inside shots look absolutely amazing. I was going into this expecting anything that was only vaguely green to become completely purple, but to my surprise, when I got the shots back, this wasn't actually the case. Shooting leaves that were like a deep dark green actually stayed mostly green. I'm assuming this is because of the blue tones, but for the best, most striking purple results, you will want to shoot bright greens like these. Also, this next point goes for pretty much all photography, but it very much applies here as well. Light is everything. A lot of areas in this palm house were quite dark because of all the foliage, so some of my shots came out a little underexposed. But in a lot of them, I quite like the effect. It's very dramatic and quite contrasty, which is a look I generally enjoy. I also noticed that the color shift is almost not noticeable in the shadow areas because I guess you just don't have any information there. But when you get some good light on these bright greens, it really shines. Now earlier I mentioned portraits, and I think that might be one of the best uses of this film. The color shift gives your portraits a very surreal and ethereal vibe. Now I wouldn't recommend doing all your portrait shoots on this film, but for something a little fun and creative, it's definitely very interesting. I ended up taking several portraits of my girlfriend and I love how they came out. Coincidentally, the top she was wearing is a very primary blue, which shows the color flipping effect of this roll really nicely. Also, shooting some bright reds and oranges gives a really interesting color contrast effect. The reds and oranges really pop in a different way than if you would have them against a green background. These two shots of the koi in this reflective pond are okay, I guess. This one looks like it could be the cover for a balloon-themed noir comic book. It's so illustrative. I gotta be honest, I didn't really like this picture at first when I got the photos back, but now that I'm looking at it again a few weeks later, it's really grown on me. And finally, I am a little disappointed with myself that I underexposed this little bonsai tree. Now, allow me a little detour. If, like me, you've watched a bunch of Grainy Days videos, you are aware of Kodak aerochrome. Aerochrome is a discontinued infrared film which turns foliage into these reds and is generally just very cool. Now, I got into the photography game too late to probably ever get my hands on some aerochrome. So Lomo Purple is realistically probably the closest thing to it that I will ever get to shoot. Now that got me thinking, could I edit my Lomo Purple shots to look like aerochrome shots? Purple's not that far away from red on the color spectrum, how hard could it be? So I did some quick tests in Lightroom, and I did run into a few issues. While red and purple are not that far away from each other on the color spectrum, how they achieve this color is where they have their biggest difference. Like I said, aerochrome is an infrared film, which means it switches its green channel for infrared light, while Lomo Purple is just flipping some color channels around and just ignoring the infrared light spectrum. So while you can color correct your photos to get kind of close to aerochrome in something like Lightroom or Photoshop, because we don't have the color information from the infrared light spectrum, we won't be able to use that exact same information to create the red color. I mean, with Photoshop, you can change the color of anything, but for now, I think Lomo Purple will just have to do. So to sum it up, to get the best out of Lomo Purple, shoot it at 400 ISO, plan a good location, shoot bright greens, not dark greens, have good light, obviously, take some portraits, and find some nice contrasty reds and oranges to shoot. I hope you get some value out of this and go shoot some Lomo Purple for yourself. If you want to see another video about a roll of film dedicated to a single color, you can go watch this video on Cinestill 800T, and I will see you on the next one.